Patrick, you and Shelley have been drawing the classic ducks, Donald Duck, Uncle Scrooge, and their family members for over 20 years for Walt Disney. These Frostlings are new characters of your own making, I understand. Tell us about their world.
Well, the Frostlings live on their own little snowball globe called Luminous.
Okay.
And it's very small, smaller than our moon. And they have great problems because it's all ice and very little else. There's two forests and a volcano on the North Pole. And from the volcanoes spew these little orbules, which is their currency. They're like little silica balls of heat. And these guys trade these for food, and the world basically that they live in is pretty desolate. It's all ice and very few trees. And the story takes place on the world and basically their lives.
It appears this artwork is all old school, hand-drawn, lettered, and even colored.
Yes, I'm working in watercolors here. I use Yorka St. Petersburg watercolors. And the whole thing is going to be hand-colored, which is kind of a different thing. Most comics these days are digitally colored. And this is very old school. Even the lettering is hand-done.
Very good. Tell us a little bit about the story, how it came to be in the first place.
Well, the characters date way back. I created them over 30 years ago. Shelley actually named them Frostlings, which I think is the perfect name for them, because it sort of sums up the fact that they live on this little cold planet. It's a graphic novel. It's about slightly over 200 pages, and basically it's an epic adventure on a little tiny scale. I've always enjoyed Lord of the Rings. When I was a young man, we played the Dungeons and Dragons together in college. And so they started off being called Dungeons and Penguins back when I was in college, and I ran a daily or a weekly strip called Penguin Borough. I went to Edinburgh University. And they sort of have evolved from that point of just being a little limited little group of adventurers to a whole world. The basic problem is with the Frostlings is there's two groups of them. There's the Frostlings who live on one small little tiny continent, and the Frostlings which live on the other. And they're really exactly the same, but they're constantly fighting over the volcano's heat source in the center of the planet. The story follows Flats and Stinky and three other of their friends as they travel across the planet and try to gather resources for one kingdom or another.
Will this Kickstarter of yours have some cool premiums for the fans who support you and help you get your and Shelley's vision to see publication?
Yes, we have a whole bunch of things planned. Not only is there going to be a signed and numbered hardback, a deluxe hardback, but there are also going to be a really nifty set of metal cards with the main characters and a metal map key bookmark to use with your deluxe Frostling signed map, which will be a lot of fun.
Can you run through the main characters in the story again for us?
Sure. We have Flats, who is basically the heroine of the tale, and she's very honest, which is a trait that is not found often in Frostlings and is considered a fault with them. And she's also pretty brave, and she's not a great fighter, but she's pretty lucky, so she survives basically on her luck. She tends to get the group in trouble because she tends to charge into the fray.
I thought Shelley's inventing the name Flats was brilliant. This is the first time you see her, and she walks into this tavern, and she's got these flat, fancy shoes, but they're really flats, where the prostitutes, penguins or whatever they are, have really high heels. But at the same time, they're big bosomed, and she's not.
Oh, she's not.
Which makes, and they just call her Flats and Sticks.
Flats, what are Flats?
I thought it was great. I thought it was really funny.
It is funny.
And that's the kind of humor I'd like to see in this. It's not really adult, but it's kind of.
Right.
You know, it's cute. It's like cute.
That's right. It's very cute.
Stinky's kind of the opposite. He's more of a crafty, thiefy kind of guy. Likes to play cards and cheat. He gets everyone in trouble constantly. And there's a wizard character, Forlock, who's sort of the opposite of Stinky in that he's tall and more sophisticated and has the larger vocabulary for a frostling anyway. And he's an ice magi. There's a different kind of magi for each basic element in the frostling world. Marge Big Bones is the fighter in the group, and he's the only really capable fighter that they have. He's large and quiet and not very smart, but he's really loyal to Flats, and he probably likes her. And finally we have Loophole, who is a lawyerly type that everyone despises, and he just ends up with the group as a kind of a castaway. And he has traits a lot like Wimpy from Popeye. He tends to mooch, and he tends to not want to do any work, and gets everyone angry at him constantly. So that's the basic cast.
Sounds like a neat story. We'll look forward to its coming to fruition.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it for 30 years, so I'm looking forward to it too.
Great.